A very welcome all of you in today's video. So आज का video is a very important topic from economist perspective. So RBI to consider proposal for bad bank. Now bad bank is a very old concept, and I remember in 2015-16 economics survey where Indian banking system was facing a lot of problem. Indian bank system के पिछले 5-6 years से almost 13 onwards, banks are facing a problem of high NPAs, that is high non-performing asset. And we always come across a balance called that Indian economy faced a problem of twin balance sheet problem. Twin balance sheet problem, that means bank balance sheet is also poor, and the corporates who have taken loan, they are not able to repay the loan. So both balance sheet up. So twin balance sheet problem is a typical problem that the banking system is facing over the years. Now, in the past 6 years, BJP government under PM Modi took a lot of initiatives, and they were able to bring down the NPA to considerable decent level, but still problem persisted. Around that time, it was believed कि bad bank एक ऐसा bank बनाएंगे जो कि it will resolve the problems of high NPAs in India. So let's understand the concept of bad bank and also understand the history behind it. Now, the current RBI governor, that is Shaktikanta Das, they said that he might look at the proposal to set up bad bank to address the problems of high NPAs in the Indian bank system. So this is GS3 Indian economy. Now, problems of NPA. So if people take loan from the bank and they don't pay for 90 days, so this asset, which is a standard asset, bank को जो loan मिलता है उसको standard asset बोलते हैं, and if that asset does not bring value to the bank, that means for 90 days no EMI interest, there it becomes a substandard asset. So this is NPA का मतलब है 90 days तक EMIs and the interests are not coming. And this is a big problem in the banking system right now. Problem was we are almost went to a phase where the NPS came down to 9% of the total advances which banks had given, which means bank ने जो loan दिया है उसका 9% loans are facing problem. Now, 9% loans are not coming back to the system. That means it is kind of a loss to the bank. Now, what is the way forward? ये पूरे NPA को हम क्या करते हैं? पूरे NPA को हम बैंक की बैलेंस शीट से हटा के let's remove from the bank balance sheet and give it to the bad bank. And the purpose of bad bank is only to resolve these NPA. यानी NPA को हम will move the NPA from banking system to the bad bank, and bad bank will take all the NPAs and will try to resolve that. So that is the concept of bad bank. So let's understand. So bad bank conveys that it will function as a bank but has bad assets to start with. No, that is not true. A bad bank is basically an asset reconstruction company, ARC, or asset management company that takes over bad loans of commercial bank, manages them, and finally recovers the money over a period of time. Unka objective clear hai. I will take the bad loans from the bank, and now bank will not have the responsibility of that. We will try to resolve the loan and we'll try to recover the money from that. Bad bank is not in the lending and taking deposits, but helps commercial bank to clean up their balance sheet and resolve bad loans, which means bad bank will not try to give loans like normal commercial banks. Takeover of bad loan is normally below the book value of the loan, and bad banks trying to recover as much possible subsequently. जो पूरा loan है उसमें से whatever we can recover, that would be the objective. Now, do we have any historical example of bad bank? Yes. US-based Mellon Bank created the first bad bank in 1988, after which the concept has been implemented in other countries like Sweden, Finland, France, and Germany. In countries में implement हुआ. Then Troubled Asset Relief Program, TARP, in US. In Ireland, National Asset Management Agency was established in 2009 to resolve the financial crisis. So we do have examples where the non-performing assets or the substandard assets were taken by the bad bank to resolve it. Now, why bad bank is required, as I mentioned. So right now, banking sector is hit by the pandemic, and RBI feel that there'll be bad loan badhega. There'll be spike in the bad loan, that is NPA is going to rise. And 6-month moratorium which was given, which would further complicate the problem. Now, banks are professionally run and they need to find a mechanism where they can deal with NPAs. So presence of government is seen as a means to speed up the cleaner process. ऐसा माना जाता है that government, if government wants, because most of these loans are basically loans of public sector banks. Now let's see what are the scenario of NPAs. Now, as per the financial stability report of RBI, the gross NPAs might shoot up to 13.5% of advances by September 2021 from 7.5 to September 2020, which means COVID जब चल रहा था, moratorium period was there, then the NPA was around 7%. Now they might double in that period, and that is a very worrying concern. It means a bank will not be able to function properly. याद रखिएगा, बैंक ऑपरेट ऑन अ वेरी स्मॉल मार्जिन ऑफ 2 to 3%. So if they are facing a loss of 8-9%, 10%, their survival will become. Now, economy is under huge stress due to pandemic, and in order to resolve that, a KV Kamath committee was formed by the government, by RBI, and KV Kamath committee said that corporate sector debt worth 15.52 lakh 2 crore is under stress due to COVID-19, and another 22.2 lakh crore already before the pandemic, which means 22.2 lakh crore plus 15. That means the huge amount, almost 37 lakh crore, 37 lakh crore of loan will be under stress. This is typically equivalent to almost 18% of India's GDP, 18-19%. So this committee has noted that companies in sectors like retail trade, wholesale trade, roads, textile are going to face huge stress. Now, in order to bring things to normal, that is where bad bank can be a solution. However, not only banking system, but even before the COVID started, even the non-banking financial institutions, companies were also facing problem. So the economic problem is even bigger. So NPA क्यों होता है? It might happen because of bad lending practices, because of there are other factors. There could be competition among banks. The cost of the banks increases. There's a crisis in the bank sector. So n number of factors could be there where NPAs might happen. Now, what are the challenges? Bad bank to apne bana diya. But for bad bank, we need to find people who can act as a bad bank. So we need buyers for bad asset. Yani jo asset ko bechna hai, we need people who can buy them. In a pandemic hit economy, which will be challenged because people don't have money, especially when government is also facing problem of containing the fiscal deficit. Without government's reforms, public sector bank might be doing the business they have been doing, where again bad debt might increase. Agar government reform nahi karti, if government does not intervene, so we might see that PSU loans or NPAs are going to rise, and that is a problem. So a lot of people believe that bad bank is like shifting the loans from government pocket to another pocket, the bad bank, as per former RBI governor. The former RBI governor ka manna hai that it is not a right approach. You move from the government to another pocket called bad bank, because most of these banks are public owned, means government owned. So basically, this is a burden on the government. So Union government in the last few years has infused 2.6 lakh crore in the banks through recapitalization. And those who concept oppose the bad bank hold that government has on its part recapitalized the bank to compensate the write-off, hence no need of bad bank. एक का कहना है, there's a feeling that if government already has recapitalized means this much money has been put by the government in the banking sector. So if this much new money has been put in the banking sector as a part to revive the banks, then we don't need a bad bank. And also the price, now bad asset को हम जब transfer करते हैं bad bank में, it will not be market determined, and price discovery will not happen. It will not be competition, which means वो asset में जितना पैसा मिलेगा best price, that that is what the banks will have to give. So that is where it might be a difficult thing for implementing bad bank. RBI, former RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan says that bad bank may create moral hazard and enable banks to continue reckless lending practices without commitment to reduce NPA. So Mr. Raghuram Rajan believes that bad bank is not a right practice, because why NPAs have gone up? A big reason is that banks have given reckless lending. Reckless lending kiya hai, poor lending kiya hai, and if you don't make them accountable, the bad bank concept will further increase this problem in future. So what is the way forward? The way forward is that banking reform should be implemented. In 2015-16, Mission Indradhanush came. So we should bring banking reforms before setting up an institution of a bad bank. And the burden of NPA should be managed at their source. We need to look what are the problems at their source. We need to work them. And bad bank should be the last option if other strategies to solve bad loan fails. So the reforms in the banking sector should be continued, and that is how we should resolve the problem. So bad bank might be a meaningful idea. Let's see how government committee or bank will, or RBI committee will deliberate on that, and let's see the decision it comes across. So I hope you got an understanding of bad bank. Bank के जो poor loans हैं, unko will transfer to a bank which will try to resolve it. But there are challenges and there are people who have a question mark on the ability whether this bad bank can be a successful idea. So that is it. Now these are two mains marathon questions. So thank